For dinner tonight, I'm doing a Teesside Parmesan. It's quite well known in this particular area. And for those who don't know what a Parmesan is, basically it's this. It is a flattened piece of chicken breast, which it's coated in breadcrumbs. It's either baked or usually deep fried. Then it is topped with a bechamel sauce. Then it is topped with cheese, which it is grilled, and that's a local delicacy known as the Teesside Parmo, locally, affectionately known as the Parmo. So this is what we're going to do tonight. This is my version of the Teesside Parmo, as I do live in Teesside. I should be qualified for doing it, but I wouldn't rely on that, to be fair. So we're actually starting off with a bechamel sauce. Dead easy to make, so let's get straight on with it. Set the scales, pan. We want to make the bechamel sauce, we want 50 grams of butter. So I've got some there. How much is that? 29 grams. I need a bit more. Let me get myself, I should have got myself organised, shouldn't I? Keep on saying preparation is key. Well, it is, but I don't always do it. I try my best. I do try, but sometimes good intentions fail. They've got 42, 46, 50, blob on. Brilliant. Now we're going to actually melt the butter in there. So let's get the stove on, get it on, not high heat. We're melting the butter. We're not frying the butter. We just want it melted. So to that we're gonna get some flour. So this is a dead easy recipe, a bechamel sauce. So it's equal quantities flour to butter. So 50 grams of flour to 50 grams of butter. So I'm using just normal plain flour, and we're going to get that in there. 50 grams. There we go. Just getting there. Keep it in the bowl, Jace. 50 grams. Brilliant. If you want a thicker bechamel, more flour. Thinner bechamel, less flour. This is where you can tailor things. But we're kind of just keeping it a bog standard, just for simplicity. So that's melting away, and the next thing we're going to do, just to make things even simpler, I'm just going to give that a little swirl around. Like I say, trying to keep it in the pan. I just want it melting, not frying. So I'm going to just turn that down a notch because I can see some steam rising there. And we're going to measure 500 millilitres of full milk. So let's get that sorted out. 100, 200, 300, 400. Getting there. 500 and whoop, there we go. That's more than good. Right, I'm just going to show you. That's fairly well melted now. As it's beginning to bubble. So at this point, there's just a little bit of solid in it. I'm going to put the flour in, and all I'm going to do is I'm going to get a spatula, one that I can get in the corners, and I'm literally just going to stir that round, and it's going to form a paste. And I'll show you what it looks like. It's just going to look like a bit of a mess to start with, as sometimes things do in cooking. Before things get better, you kind of create something that doesn't quite look like it should be, but it is. So there we go. And we're just going to fry that off for a few seconds, and all we want is for it to change. So I'm very tactile in cooking, and cooking is a lot about using all your senses. It's not just about what you see in the pan, but it's what you're smelling. And what you smell when you first put it in is just the raw flour smelling, the raw butter. And then as it begins to sizzle, might be able to hear it there, it's actually starting to cook the flour out. And all we want to change that from a raw smell to almost, it's beginning cooking, and it changes slightly like a biscuity sort of smell as it begins to it definitely changes as it begins to cook out. So we want that on for a minute or so. We've got it all nice and clean in there, so we just clean down the sides. It's always good, especially with the spatula, clean down. We don't want it to catch, we just want it to fry away nicely. Now that's changing, and I can smell it. That's definitely changing there. So next bit, what we're going to do is start adding our milk bit by bit. So just put in, I don't know, 75, 100 mils, something like that, doesn't really matter. And as that's cooking, it's going to come to the boil and it's going to look really, really lumpy and a real mess. And all we're going to do is we're just going to keep it, and I can keep it off the heat while I'm doing this. You don't normally, I'm only doing this to show you. And it's just turned into a paste again. So it's turned back into a paste and you think, well, that doesn't look like very much like bechamel sauce. Dead right, it doesn't. So back on, more milk. So get a bit more in there. And we keep going. So that's going to come to the boil. Now careful, because it's a lump. Don't start being a bit vigorous with this, because you'll have milk splashing all over the place. How do you know, Jason? Because I've done it. Yeah, I tell you. I've learned a lot by making a mess, I tell you. I can see some of you thinking, yeah, I bet you have. Yeah, I have. Just nearly did it again. So yeah, just slowly combine it and it'll just break itself down. Don't worry about lumps and stuff, because we're going to kind of just keep on going as we are until all the liquid's gone and it's back to a paste again. Back to a paste again. Slightly softer paste this time, but it's back to a paste. We're going to get some more milk in there and we're going to just continue exactly the same process. Bit more this time. And I'm just going to let that come up to temperature and just stir it around there. And when it starts to form more of a consistency of like instead of it being like a lump, and actually more of a very, very thick sauce, we can change over from this. We can use a whisk just to make sure we don't get any lumps in there. Or we can continue with this. Either or, it really doesn't matter. So there it's coming. Again, it's changing. As you say, don't be perturbed by the way it looks. Just keep on going. And that'll eventually all amalgamate and it'll become one texture, which is what we want. Brilliant, which it is, getting there. So we're still on the thing, it's just coming up to heat. And as it comes up to the boil, because don't forget, you can put hot milk in, I'll put cold in, just to make it easier. Because this is quite a quick thing to do. It's quick if you get on with it, you're dead right, so I need to get on with it. So we've created another paste again. So you can see it's changed. Now it's not a lump anymore. It's a paste. It's a very, 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 very thick sauce. I'm back in with some more milk. There we go. Now at this point, I can, and I will, I'll put it all in. That's how much milk I need for this particular recipe. So I'm just going to get rid of this. And I'm just going to switch to my whisk. And I'm just going to whisk that in. And this way you'll guarantee that you won't have any lumps there. Like I say, you might get a bit of splashing all over there. Don't worry about it. I'm doing my best not to, but it's just not happening, is it? And there we go. Now that's in one texture. And we're just going to spin that round until there's no lumps. And it's just a nice sauce, which I'm going to show you any second now. Now obviously there's no lumps in there. So now I can get rid of that because I've got rid of the lumps. And the beauty about the spatula is you get into all the corners and you can rub the bottom and make sure nothing catches. You can't do that with a whisk. All the whisk actually did there is make sure that there's no lumps in there. So I'm going to turn it right down now. And you'll see it's just beginning to bubble away. So that's our final sauce. All we're left to do now was just going to let that bubble for a few seconds. I'm going to put in there some seasoning. So we've got some salt. I'm going to measure it just for the sake, because I do like grams, and I'm going to put about 5 grams of salt in there. 5 grams, there we go. There's our salt going in there. Give it a stir. And we're going to give it a good few grains of black pepper. You can use white if you're particularly fussy about not having black specks in you, so you won't see them. And I'm going to give 10, 12 grinds, something like that. Actually, that's all left in there. There's no left, so I was lucky, wasn't it? So I've had as much as I'm going to get out of there. And that's just gently just blipping. Just gently. It is. Is it? No. Let's give it one more on there. That should be enough. It's cooked, it's done. And the last thing I'm going to put in is nutmeg. If you don't like nutmeg, don't put it in, but it is classic. Now this is a basic white sauce. It's not a traditional white sauce. And I'm going to just put a few rasps. And make sure you use the proper nutmeg. Don't use pre-grated stuff. Waste time. Get the proper nutmeg nuts, if they are nuts, wherever they are, and grate it freshly. Honestly, it makes all the difference. Don't bother with it. If you're going to use the other stuff, don't bother. That's my advice and recommendation. And that, my friends, is a completed bechamel sauce. Often known, so like I said, this is not classic. A classic one, you would flavour the milk. So you'd put some, you'd actually boil the milk in an onion, maybe some bay leaf, maybe some clove. That's kind of a classic flavoured traditional bechamel. So this is just a quick bog standard, and we don't need anything more than that for the dish that we're doing. So there's my bechamel sauce done, and this is what's called a mother sauce. So this becomes, you put cheese in, you've got a cheese sauce. You put in mustard, you've got a mustard sauce. You put in tarragon, you've got a tarragon sauce. If you put in parsley, you've got a parsley sauce, etc, 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 etc. So this is the basis of our a mother sauce, which you make other things from. And don't burn yourself, Jason, because this pan's hot. Not too hot, but right, that's it. Bechamel sauce, tick, done. I'll come on to doing the chicken and stuff later, but for now, that's our bechamel. So that's one part of the recipe done, we'll move on. So that's it for now. See you soon.